Hi, and welcome back to another episode of Someone's in the Kitchen with Dee Dee. Today we're going to be making some amazing traditional Greek food. We're going to have lamb chops that have been marinating in my refrigerator for over 24 hours. And that's going to be pan fried. Then we are going to have in this pot here, this is a Dutch oven, and it works really well to do anything that has to go both in the oven or in the oven and on the stovetop, or it works really well just because it's one of my favorite pots because it's so nice and big and I can cook anything in it. In this we're going to be making a zucchini lemon orzo. So I have actually pre-portioned everything out that we need for today, all ready to go. And the lamb chops are going to take a half an hour. This is going to take approximately 20-ish minutes. So I'm going to get going with the lamb chops first. I'm going to let that pan heat up a little bit. I'm tossing a little tiny bit of olive oil in there. I'm going to pour the rest of the marinade from the bag with the chops into here once it's heated. So I'm going to just go ahead and not put too much oil in. That's just enough so that it doesn't stick. While I'm waiting for that to heat, in this pot here, we'll go 4 tablespoons of butter. And we're going to turn that on high. You want to do as much of this dish on high as possible until you get towards the end where you're going to be having the orzo absorb everything and become almost like a risotto. When we do that, we want it to simmer just so that it becomes nice and fragrant and well done. So right here I have about 4 cloves of garlic. That's going to go in with the butter. See how thin that oil got? It's able to move around the pan really well. That means the pan's heated enough for us. So, in go our chops. I'm reserving some of this marinade for when I flip them over. And I am going to put a little bit in there now. I'm going to let it simmer-ish, like on about medium heat for 15 minutes. Flip, and then another 15 minutes on the other side. So 30 minutes total because we do have the bone in these guys. My butter over here is browning and looking good. I need to wash my hands. So with the butter over here, brown, looking good, we're going to add the orzo in. We want to get it to toast. I have a 1-pound box of orzo here. And when I say toast, I mean that we just kind of want it to be golden. I don't know if you guys have ever made rice-a-roni or pasta-roni or anything like that. They have you do this step as well. Toast it so that it's kind of bringing the flavor out and helping with the outside of the pasta here. Stirring it all up so that that garlic and butter gets on every little one there. So this toasting process should only take 2 to 3 minutes. Just going to keep an eye on it here. While that's toasting on that side, I'm going to see how the sear is going on those. I think the pan has too much liquid in it to get a sear. So forget that I said that. We're just gonna simmer them. They'll probably turn out more tender that way, but I don't want to lose a lot of liquid or flavor. So I'm going to turn the heat down to about medium. I'm going to set my timer for 15 minutes and we will go forward. One of the things I really love about cooking is that if you do want to do something, but you kind of didn't do it so right, like I wanted to with the sear, you can just flip it up and do something different. It's a good thing. So let me stir up this orzo. I'm getting some little brown butter bits at the bottom of the pan. I don't want to do that, so I'm going to lower the heat a little bit here. I want to bring the camera a little bit closer. As you can see, some of these orzo noodles are getting really nice and toasty. That's what we want. They don't all have to be that toasty, but we still want to get that toast layer going on them. About another minute on this guy. Just going to be kind of trying to move it around a lot so that we can get an even toast. Yeah, look at that. That looks delicious. Okay, so now I'm going to add in the zucchini to this while we still have enough liquid in there. And the zucchini, of course, is a liquidy vegetable, so it's going to make its own liquid as well. This is 2 medium zucchinis chopped thinly. So I'm trying to hold the camera with one hand and do this with the other. And I'm going to stir that in. We want this to go for 3 minutes now. The zucchini separated and in there. Make sure they're all coated with some of that liquid butter that we had in there. And we're gonna not continually stir, but stir very often so that those orzo noodles don't burn or toast too much. And I'm gonna go ahead and lower the heat a little bit more here. So 3 minutes on this guy. Once we're done with that, we're going to go ahead and add 1/2 of a cup of broth, which is going to deglaze the pan. So here I have my broth. This is the 1/2 cup that's going to deglaze. When we go to cook it, this is the 2.5 additional cups that you need. So you're going to need 3 cups total. And this is the lemon juice that's going to go in there. It's about an 1/8 cup. Towards the end, we're going to go ahead and add in our milk to make it creamy. Parmesan cheese that's been shaved. This is a 1/2 cup of actually heavy whipping cream so that we can make it a little bit thicker. And these are spices. When I go to throw those in, I'll give you a rundown on exactly how much and what those are so that you can do this at home if you wanted to. So what we have in here is thyme, kosher salt, pepper, paprika, onion powder, and this is a tablespoon, a tablespoon, a tablespoon. This little bit is cream that fell in there from here. And then this is about 1/2 a tablespoon of each of these. This is 1 full cup of shaved parm. So if you want to look at our lamb chops there, they're looking tasty. Coming over here, goes out another 1.5 minutes on these guys. But as you can see, the zucchini are starting to get softer and kind of curl up a little bit. Get some transparency to them. That way we know they're cooking. I used to be afraid to lower the heat too much on things because I didn't think they would cook enough or cook fast enough or whatever, but I've learned over the years that it's better to go low and slow on some things. But the majority of this one is going to be on high, and the reason for that is because we want to have a certain, not a certain temperature, but a very high temperature going for this. So I have about 1 minute on that, and then we are going to deglaze with the chicken broth. ahead and set you back down there. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and deglaze with this chicken broth. So that means we're going to pour it in. You can hear it sizzle right away. And we're going to use it to get up any little bits that dried on the bottom of the pan. All that delicious browned butter and any little bits of orzo that got stuck. I'm going to turn the heat back up. So we're going back up to high here. And this is looking good. It's starting to get creamy, which is what we want. So we're going to add all the spices. Once again, we have a tablespoon each of thyme, onion powder, paprika, half tablespoon kosher salt, half tablespoon pepper. Stir that in real good. And we're also going to add the lemon. So about an 1/8 cup of lemon juice. Or if you're into the fresh lemon, which is delicious as well, go ahead and use 1 entire lemon. And you can throw the zest in there if you're feeling froggy and you really like that taste. So I'm going to take you closer again so that you can see here that zucchini is really cooking up nicely. I wish you guys could smell this. So as we're getting a little bit of stickage at the bottom there, we want to go ahead and make sure that that doesn't happen. So I'm taking the additional 2.5 cups of chicken broth here. And I am going to slowly, while still stirring, add that in. Making sure that nothing sticks over here. Perfect. So now we are going to bring this to a boil over very high heat. Once we've reached that boil, we're going to lower that to a simmer. That simmer is going to go for 8 to 10 minutes. At that point, the orzo should be al dente. The zucchini should be cooked down to like nothing. And then that's when we're going to add in the cream and the cheese. But we really want a lot of this liquid to evaporate in here once we get it to the boil. Because again, this is supposed to be like a creamy risotto, not necessarily a soup type. So we have 6 minutes left on the chops. We have what's going here. This is starting to come to a boil. So I'm going to get out my second timer here. And 8 to 10 is the recommended on this, so I'm going to set my timer for 9 minutes, but I'm going to be keeping an eye on it the entire time, because if it does get too thin on the broth and we're seeing too much of the orzo, then I'm going to go ahead and turn the heat back up and add in the cheese and everything. So here we go. We are coming to a very nice looking boil there. I'm going to wait until that boil reaches the center as well, just to make sure that we have an even heat across as we're coming up on that here. We'll go ahead and lower this all the way down to a simmer and start the timer. Every once in a while, give it a nice little stir. Okay, it's been 15 minutes on those chops. As you can see, the blood's coming up to the surface, and I actually am getting a nice sear on them now, because all of that evaporated and it's smelling really delicious. So I'm going to go ahead and flip all of these. Anybody who hasn't eaten lamb before, the lamb chops are really good. They are just like a tiny little T-bone steak, actually. This part here is the tenderloin, and this is the rest of the steak. They can be very tender when done right. Lamb does have a unique taste, so it's not for everybody, but it's definitely for me. Okay, so I reserved the rest of my marinade, and I'm going to go ahead and pour that in now. The marinade is half a cup of lemon juice, half a cup of olive oil, and oregano, salt, pepper, and basil, and that's it. And and garlic, of course. Sorry, lots and lots of garlic. And you can let that sit in the chops in that for up to 48 hours. So I have come over here. We only have 3 minutes left on this. It's getting just as creamy as it should. I think that the smoke probably can't see because of the steam, but it looks delicious. Orzo is a beautiful color. And down to 2 minutes now. Then we're going to go ahead and add in a cup of parm, shaved parm, and half a cup of heavy whipping cream. You can substitute this with whole milk or half and half. Almond milk if you're lactose, with no flavor. So these have another 15 minutes. And another 2 on this. Sorry, bringing this to a full heat, and melting that cheese, because everything is already cooked. So this, we're just kind of gonna get creamier, get some of that to evaporate out. And again, we're back on high heat. You can see we got some boilage going on there. If I stop stirring, I am constantly stirring just so that we can get an even high heat across this and evaporate that without burning anything. And of course it will also thicken on standing, which it will be standing for about 12 minutes because that's how much longer the pork chops have to go. So I am going to go ahead and turn the heat off on this and just let it chill there. I'm going to put the lid on it so that we don't lose a lot of the heat. Here we are with the chops. 11 minutes, 52 seconds left on those. Alright, we're done here. So I have the lamb chops. They are done, seared, delicious looking, and our creamy risotto with lemon and zucchini. I'm gonna go ahead and plate this up so that y'all can see what it looks like. And there we have it. Lamb chops with creamy lemon risotto made with orzo, not rice, and zucchini. Thank you all for watching again, and I hope that you join me again soon for another episode of Look Who's in the Kitchen, or Someone's in the Kitchen with Dee Dee. And if you have any suggestions on recipes that you'd like me to do, please like and comment, and also subscribe to my channel. Thanks. Have a great one.